What's up, guys? This is Dave from The Disorderly. I'm joined once again by Mr. Andrew Volpe.
Hey guys.
There you go.
Delayed reaction.
Delayed reaction. Nailed it.
Yes.
Yeah, so we just saw Midsommar. I saw it yesterday. Did you see it yesterday?
I ended up seeing it on Saturday, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like 2 days ago.
Fairly fresh.
Yeah. It's fairly fresh in my mind, though. I'm kind of glad we're talking about it because I would like to make sure I can like remember all the plot points for what there were and everything.
Yeah, no, a lot of it is already quickly leaving my memory. So.
Right.
Either by self-preservation mode or otherwise. But we're both pretty excited about it. I think we both liked Hereditary. I think you probably liked it more than I did, but I respect it as a just kind of crazy film that I think everyone should kind of see.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have much rewatchability for me. Like, I don't want to.
You're not
I mean?
like jonesing to go back into just all that misery and death and everything.
Yeah, it's brutal, and I mean, it was interesting because that was his first film, and now Ari Aster, the director, writer, and now we can see a little bit more of a sample size from him as we see his second film, and we kind of see what is kind of his style, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we're kind of, and I think it's a pretty unique style, but it's consistent. A lot of the same general kind of themes and editing and shots and
Yeah, he definitely
disorienting kind of things,
Yeah, he definitely has the things that attract him, and I'm hoping whatever he does next, he changes the formula. But this and Hereditary definitely feel like they're kind of companion pieces, or there's definitely similarities between the two that are noteworthy.
Yeah, and it's and we'll full spoilers, like screw the innocent, like we're gonna get into it. I don't know why you would listen to this if you haven't seen this.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't.
If you want the non-spoiler review, if you liked Hereditary, you might like this. If you didn't like Hereditary, definitely don't go see this.
Yeah, no, and my I don't know, because we go to AMC, and I want to say there's only like it feels like the theaters are only 50 seats anymore. Like they're just. It's not like a real movie theater anymore.
It's like they're trying to cram more screens into less like surface area or something like that.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make the individual movie going experience better, so they make the seats bigger and all this. So you're seeing it with like maybe 30, 40 people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're not I remember when we used to go to like, back in the day, we would go see a movie with like 100 or 200 people in a movie theater, and you could get like a wild reaction based on the crowd. Not anymore, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's a little bit weird.
Yeah, I feel like that's like kind of limited to. I feel like everyone's trying to do either that intimate, almost like you're sitting on your couch at home and just watching a really big screen feel, or it's like the opposite where if you do get those 100 or 200 people theaters in there, they're like stadiums. Like those are only for like the most massive of the theaters.
Yeah, I'm almost in favor of going back because I'm so goddamn tired of how comfortable people have started to get. If you're taking your shoes off and you're bringing a blanket to the movie theater, jump into traffic, please. Do not come to my theater. And I live in Southern California, so every third person is wearing gross flip-flops, and they're taking their shoes off and rubbing their nasty ass feet all over the leather, and ugh. It's just be a human being. You know what I mean? It's like when people used to dress up to go on a flight.
Yeah.
The flight hobo culture has perforated into the movie theater scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm wildly, like, honestly, like, I would rather you be the insane Chinese tourist that is filming themselves through the entire film so that you can publish your reaction. I'd rather you almost do that than be the person who brings like a pillow and a blanket and like makes a bed out of your movie theater seat.
Yeah, I feel like you have to be on a minimum of you have to be in a movie marathon and like on your third movie before you can even think about.
I don't care.
Yeah.
There's no excuse. I don't even have a circumstance that could warrant that kind of behavior. I got nothing. Be a goddamn human. Be a human. Wear clothes. Like you can get away with being a complete slob out here. You know what I mean? I guess anywhere, but
California.
Just the people out here are so soft, dude. I just, like you just ask them to wear a basic amount of clothes, and they're like, "Hey, man." Mm-hmm. No, dude, no. Ain't nobody got time for that. The East Coastness of me just can't handle it.
But Dave, where else am I going to cut my toenails if not in a public space?
God, I just, just disgusting.
Oh, man.
It's craziness. But back to kind of my own theater, it was wild because, I had a very small like sample to choose from. The woman sitting next to me, who was, I don't know, kind of still, trying, kind of attractive older woman who was on a date or something with a husband, boyfriend, but constantly making like comments through the whole film, through the whole damn thing. She was just so not into it. Remember when we went to see Mother?
Yes.
And there were people who were clearly not into it and didn't know what they were getting into.
Yeah. Oh, this is a nice Jennifer Lawrence.
I had a lot of that.
Was your theater actually filled up or whatever?
It was a good sign. Yeah, because like I said, they've reduced the amount of seats so that it's damn near impossible. It's hard. It takes a little foresight now to like go to the movies because we have the AMC stubs or AMC whatever.
Right.
So we can only go to AMC theaters. So if you're and their whole thing is 50 seats, right? So every showing has like 50 seats.
So you have to come early. Especially
we went to Spider-Man at like 9:30 in the morning the day before. You know what I mean?
And was it still almost sold out or packed?
Yeah, they're like every movie, no matter what, is almost always sold out because the supply is so low.
Right, especially tentpoles like that or whatever.
Yeah, the bigger movies, stuff like that. But I mean, the people were just talking out loud in my showing. Like,
oh, man.
Why is he doing that? Why? Like, people were talking out loud.
Oh, my God.
And I think people thought this is so shocking and crazy that, like, that's acceptable. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Was this,
by some of the things
this Spider-Man or was this Midsommar?
No, this is Midsommar.
Oh, okay.
People behave themselves for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Midsommar, they were like, we're all experiencing something horrible together. Like if you're on a plane and it starts going down,
like everyone just
like no one really blames anyone
inhibitions
for getting
get
crazy,
unleashed or whatever.
You're riding a city bus and it gets hit by a car. People start standing up, walking around. Holy shit! Look at that. No one. Really, you can kind of forgive it.
It's just all the emotions are at the surface.
Yeah, a lot of people were dealing with what was going on in the film. Not that like. I was like, you people are so goddamn soft and just, and who are you? Like, what did you sign? What did you think?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what did you think was gonna...
Especially, I feel like a lot of people would have the primer of Hereditary.
Right, exactly.
Like, yeah. I don't feel like...
Who would possibly go to see this? Just, that seems fun.
Yeah, like, I feel like even if I, was... this is a hard sell for me, even as a horror fan, had it not been for the Ari Aster aspect of it. Mm-hmm. Because I'm totally into him as a director and I'm like immediately interested in whatever he was doing, but like I'm not like jonesing at the bit to see like what were they Swedish pagan rituals or whatever. But yeah, I was kind of curious how this movie was going to do because my usual thing, and I'm telling you, is the best way to do it is just the what is it, like 10:50 a.m. showing. It was me and like two other people in the theater, but
it's paradise.
But so my gripe was totally different because I also went to an AMC, but it was in the Ballston Mall where they've been renovating, and that's
for 10 years, 20 years. I mean,
yeah, forever. Like the whole, they closed down this whole mall eventually, and the only thing they were keeping going was the movie theater for the longest time. So everything else, it's just like this empty theater, and
it's like Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, like basically. Everything's boarded up, and it's like a ghost town. And it's not necessarily the best theater and everything, but so they've been renovating it because they're trying to make it a nice mall now. So I'm in this tiny theater, not that many other people are in there, and there's a lot of like quiet moments in Midsommar, but they were playing yesterday in the theater next to me, so in the quiet moments of the movie, I just heard Beatles music like blaring through the wall. I
want to hold your hand.
Always at the most inopportune times, like, something disgusting was going on, and like, you'd hear like,
the highest tension, and all you hear is, imagine there's no heaven.
Yes, exactly. And then finally, I guess yesterday must have ended like 2/3 of the way through my showing of Midsommar, and I was like, thank God. And then all I heard,
you just get to enjoy Nuvi for 38 minutes or whatever.
Well, no. After that, they resumed construction, so I just heard like hammering and like rivets being like put in wood and everything like that. So
Jesus,
wasn't the best movie going experience. I'm still like Alamo all the way, or those places.
Please, please. If Alamo Drafthouse, if you're listening, can you open a goddamn theater somewhere near me?
Yes, and do your own Stubbs thing. I'll totally go.
Please. And I think they are. But I mean, it's like when I say near me, I mean not in Los Angeles. Like I'm like an hour out of LA, and I'm only like 10 miles away from LA. So you do the math. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, let's dig into this. Ari Aster. Like I was reading some of the, and he's like, like. Because it sounds like this other production company called Be Real, which I was like, it's a Swedish production company called Be Real Films.
Oh yeah, I was wondering about that. I saw that title card.
And I was like, what?
Yeah, that was pretty... So that's the Swedish company that he was working with when he was filming. Because I saw most of the production crew was all Swedish, and they looked like they filmed exclusively there and all that.
Yeah, but it's like they filmed it in Bulgaria. They didn't even film it in Sweden.
Oh, really?
I assume they just went to Canada.
Yeah,
because you could do that movie in a field in Canada.
You could do this movie like many literally places. Anywhere. It's totally one location in a field. What I mean? Like
right. Yeah. So I was like, you guys had to go to Bulgaria? Like why'd you have to do that?
I wonder if they had to do anything with the whole like midnight sun gimmick, like if there was like a certain type of light you only get in that part of the world or some shit.
I have no idea.
I didn't really notice it if it was, but you never know.
Who knows? That would be a cool story, but I think the answer is usually just because of money.
Yeah, tax incentives
or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
But just reading, because it sounded like I think it was A24 and this other company were basically like, hey man, can you make like a Swedish slasher film? And he was like, no, I'm not really into it. Like, I don't know what is that story? What do I, what do I do? And then he kind of started getting into kind of the cultist kind of side of it. Mm-hmm. And he kind of talked about how it's a given what's going to happen in the film. Like, there's no savvy audience member who Yeah. Everyone knows what's going to... The premise is this, so this must happen.
Right.
So he was like, let's make an interesting film and script about how it happens, because A plus B equals C. Everyone knows A and C, but let's kind of think of a fun equation here. And then how do we get it? How do we build around this kind of failing relationship that it kind of enables everything? He was like, well, it's kind of an interesting problem because I have these smart individuals, the PhD students, who are surrounded by these crazy events that progressively get worse and worse, but they decide not to leave, where most people kind of would identify, I think, with the British pair that were just kind of along for the ride.
We gotta go, yeah.
Right, and then, but the the PhD students are like, whoa, this is pretty wild. I'm going to write about this. And, they're much more kind of willing to go along with it out of their own kind of selfishness. So I think that's how he kind of justified them not just bailing.
Yeah.
Like a normal human would.
Yeah, and I gotta say, that was one of the aspects of the movie I kind of appreciated a little bit. Like, not to say they're super well-drawn characters, but I did like that they weren't just horny college co-eds, on a trip. Like, they were like, okay, they're PhD students, so it is a little bit more academic, and, two of them are clearly, like very determined, like, to seek academic success from this trip, even if it means looking past a bunch of obviously fucked up shit.
Right, because it's pretty clear. They kind of lay it out, like, everyone's intentions are pretty well defined. Even Will Poulter, who is like kind of giving the least meaty role, I think, of just being like
the
dumb, horny guy. He's the Stifler of the group.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? You know what I mean? So he just wants to go get laid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So okay, and then the other chick is trying to kind of keep her relationship together. Like, I don't know how you felt about her, but I couldn't stand her.
Oh,
I don't
the
know.
main girl, Danny? Or Florence?
Yeah.
Oh, man, she was my favorite part. Like, I thought that performance... that's the thing is, like, I wasn't as into... it's interesting that you said how he ended up coming about making this specific movie, because, like, the plot itself and everything I wasn't as into, but I really did dig her performance. And yes, I know sometimes she was like the annoying emotionally distraught girlfriend, but that's her character, man. Like, that
she nailed she's like she's the drunk annoying girl on your hall freshman year, who is just always too drunk or always crying or freaking out or something. She's your friend's annoying girlfriend who throws up in your car.
Yes, and
her name is Paige.
I
you know what I mean?
I totally agree. Yeah, she's definitely, I could see her being pretty basic in regular life, and yeah, like, but I mean,
I was like, this is a real person. She's kind of short. She's not like a movie star looking girl. I was like, she's perfect. They just plucked her out of Arizona State and said, go.
And
you know what I mean?
It did feel totally real. But the one thing was, I was super sympathetic to her the whole time, just from how horrifying the opening 10 minutes were. Because, like, just the whole your bipolar sister not only killing herself but your parents, and then you
murder suicide.
Yeah, like you like that. There's that one scene where it's like she gets the call from the unknown caller, and then it cuts back to her boyfriend, and he answers a phone call from her, and it's just her wailing. And that's the stuff. Same thing happened in Hereditary. Like, above all the gory stuff and everything like that, the stuff that gets me a lot is just like screams of unfathomable sorrow and loss. And, like, she nailed it the same way that Toni Collette did in Hereditary there. And so I felt like from that I could understand why she's so emotionally fragile, and, like, I could understand the situation pretty quickly from the outset of this relationship of, like, oh man, this guy was meaning to break up probably for 6 months, but now it's like one of those situations where you can't.
Did we have a real life situation that was something like this?
I think you told me a story, like, one of you had a friend that had something like that happen.
Man, I'm trying to dive back into my memory banks here, but I was like, all the shitty relationships feels so real.
In my
past. Like, but like someone. Oh God, man, did we have a friend? I think. Hold on a second. No, seriously. Like, I'm trying to remember if a guy was dating. One of our friends was dating a girl, and I think her mom had cancer or something, and he couldn't break up with her while she was going through it or something. Like, he didn't want to be there, but he was too afraid to break up with her because she was going through this horrible time. Dude, I can't remember who, but I feel like that happened to either me in college or one of us.
I think I vaguely remember you telling me a story about one of your friends that had a situation like that years ago.
He's just trapped, you know?
Yeah.
You're trapped. What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, it's a shitty situation all around. But yeah, so like, you know, that beginning scene kind of set up the tone pretty well, and like kind of rooted it like that. I was firmly interested in seeing the decay of this relationship. Like, that still is the most interesting part of this story to me, and I did remain interested. Like, it did a good job of hooking me to that aspect at first.
Yeah,
I would say
it gave me like
yeah,
like all the little like passive aggressive like infighting. Like, when should we take the mushrooms? I don't know. Like, you want to take them? Go ahead. Like we've gone to bullshit.
I'll do it now.
No, but like, I mean, you remember this when even you had a girlfriend? Remember Mike and I?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, dude! Like, we've had moments where, like, you know what I mean, where Mike and I hate whoever you're dating, or we hate whoever Mike's dating.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, like, we've all had these weird things, you know, where you're just kind of dealing with one of your good friends' girlfriends who's just having a time.
Yeah, like I thought like all of the dynamics between, like, all of the like kind of very unremarkable scenes, like the regular interactions, especially early on, like when they're all sitting at the bar, like all the guys, and they're kind of trying to explain, like, you know, basically asking him when he's going to dump her, to just all of the bickering leading up to getting to the place, and Will Poulter when he's on mushrooms and he's like, everybody lay down, okay? Like I definitely remember like the one guy that like wigs out, like all they did a good job of like capturing the verisimilitude of like these are regular kids this age, and this is how they would probably talk pretty closely. Like, it wasn't.
Yeah, I also kind of hated it because it's like that very millennial.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know, I don't think you're, you know, like, I feel like you're attacked, like, just the too kind of polite, non-familiar tone.
Yeah, I mean,
that people get into these days because they don't want to talk.
Yeah, well,
it's very strange.
Yeah, there's a lot of
it's uncomfortable.
It's like intellectual passive aggressiveness. That's where the grad student thing comes into. Like, I liked that, if nothing else, because it gives it a certain different flavor. You know, like, you're going to have annoying kids to be fodder for whatever the thing's going to kill them for in a lot of horror movies. So it is nice to at least you get a different flavor of like annoying college kid or something like that.
I always think they're written way smarter than I give them credit for. You know what I mean?
Like, are you talking about in general, or?
Well, when you know the confrontation between Christian and Josh, when they kind of
they both want to write the paper or whatever.
Yeah, like the way Josh dresses him down, I'm like, dude, come on, like, I've never heard any like 22-year-old dude talk like that.
Yeah, but I liked how it's so clear that like Jack is just Christian is just like probably not the best student, and he's like immediately like, oh yeah, I'm doing this one now too, like.
Well, why are you going for a PhD? Remember when we used to think PhD students and like, oh, you have a PhD, you're a doctor. Like, remember we used to think those people were smart?
Yeah. I mean...
and then what happened? They just...
Well, also, sometimes it's like, when you're getting a PhD in something really specific, like...
this is pretty damn specific. Yeah. He's doing it on a village.
Well, it's like a village. Yeah, it's like the most specific sociological study, or I guess it would be... What, like, oh yeah, I forgot what, but yeah, it's like
anthropology.
Yeah, I guess it'd be anthropology for, like, I don't even know what culture it is really, like what religion they are, if any, or whatever. And, like, I think the whole Midsommar thing is like supposed to be like kind of based on a bunch of stuff they do in a lot of the Nordic countries, but like they have the maypole and they have the queen and everything like that, but I think they do it every year. I don't think it's like every 90 years and all that.
Right. Well, that was one weird thing where everyone seems pretty familiar with all the activities for it to be no one living there should be doing it, right? If they kill each other at 72, like there's no one at this thing that should have any idea how to do any of this shit.
Well, so that like immediately when they said, "Oh, once every 90 years," like I just assumed like, "Oh, there's got to be something where these people are all actually like 500 years old or 1,000 years old and this thing somehow gives them eternal life." But then, yeah, nothing of that. There was it didn't go that deep into the supernatural or anything. So, I'm not entirely sure, and that's probably my biggest gripe with the movie is I think it I like that it doesn't like come right out and say a lot everything, like, you know, there's not like a villain that monologues at the end and explains everything to you, but there are certain things that would be nice. Like I think I would have enjoyed the movie more if like just certain things like that were fleshed out more, or things that were implied. Like there's certain things I wouldn't have minded if they just came out and showed it or whatever. And I guess we can get into it more later as we go through more of the plot details, but there's a lot of things that are just like just random plot threads that are dropped there, and you kind of have to make of it what you will, and they're never really like fully fleshed out. They're just left there and to confuse it. Like I guess you're definitely trapped in Danny's perspective. Like she doesn't know what the fuck is going on, so it's just as bewildering to her as it is to us, the audience. But
well, she's the dumbest character, right? Other than the horn dog kid. So I feel like that's what he wrote it to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think, I still think academic or not, like the the thing I kept on thinking when I was in there, when I was watching it was like, I get they did a good job of trying to give them a reason to stay in the village, but as soon as I see that old guy's skull splattered by the hammer, I'd be like, I'm sorry, I'm out. And also the old Nordic village, like I know it's supposed to be like a little paradise, but like spending 9 days there sounds like not at all my idea of fun. It's basically
but
like
didn't they talk about staying for 6 weeks?
Or something
like a month. Like, didn't she say like you're just gonna go for a month and a half or something?
Oh no, no,
didn't he say? Oh,
no,
it's just a month and a half.
He said, well, yeah, he did say a month and a half, but the festival itself was supposed to be 9 days, right?
But how long would he stay in that little village?
Well, weren't they supposed to like go to Stockholm afterwards or something like that?
I don't know. Well, it didn't sound like it because Pella, however you pronounce it. I mean, I was fascinated by his kind of heel turn of like, god damn, like he was just recruiting people to be basically sacrificed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's pretty wild.
And you once again, I wouldn't have minded like a little bit more like, oh, how does this work? Does everyone do it? Is it just a
do they just send you out like missionaries to go collect people that we can harvest?
Do they fucking like train them to be like, do the most pretty and handsome ones like, are there different like groups of people that are trained for this? Because it kind of seemed like his brother was also doing it because he brought the British people, right?
Right, which was weird because he kind of mentioned like I was in love with her or I was dating, and then so that's a convenient way of getting rid of these people. You know what I mean? But,
yeah. Well, that almost, I was wondering if that had a malicious...
Was his motivation? Yeah,
like maybe he's like, okay, cool, I'll sacrifice you too if you don't love me. Or maybe he wanted her to fall in love with him and was going to bake her a pew pie or something. I don't know. Like, there's so many things that aren't really fleshed out that it's... A lot of it could be left up to interpretation. But when you were watching it, one thing I didn't realize when I was, I did not realize it was a 2.5 hour movie going in.
Oh, yeah, no, I did.
And I honestly, I didn't feel it. Like, it didn't really, I didn't realize it was 2.5 hours. Like, I think towards the end I was like, oh, this seems a little longer than it should be, but I thought that was because of the pace or whatever. Like, it was the slow burn factor, and I didn't mind it. Like, I was never like, oh, this is so boring. But looking back on it and just seeing where it goes, like, I felt like it could have, like you were saying, like the whole, we're explaining how Ari Aster was saying, like, we all know where this is going, so I felt like they could have gotten us there a little bit faster, or maybe lingered on the climax a little bit more, Yeah, because there was a certain point where I was just like, okay, come on, what's this all leading towards, you know?
Yeah, like I mean, like one thing he talked about was kind of all of the weird pictures and drawings of creepy shit. He was like, I wanted that to be very obvious. Like, here you go. Like, look at all this horrible shit that they're just kind of ignoring.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like the love story tapestry.
Oh yeah, I love
thing
that.
of how to seduce someone. You know, kind of a weird thing like that. You know, like it's all out there. Like all the signs are present.
Right.
They're not really vague or hidden. They show the bear being lit on fire, like in the picture, kind of the wallpaper. I was like, God damn it! Like as soon as I saw a bear in a cage, I was like, that bear is not in that cage for any good reason. And then when I saw the picture of the bear on fire, I was like, okay, well that's something. And then as soon as I saw them disemboweling the bear, I was like, someone's going in that goddamn bear.
And
someone's going in the bear.
So the drawing I loved. Like I thought that was a great touch, and I feel there's like so much. That's the thing that makes me want to rewatch the movie, because I feel like there's subtle clues and all these things in the drawings. Even in the opening, they had like the 4 or 5 part drawing that basically I think was supposed to foreshadow all the things that were happening to the characters, but done in that old-timey style or whatever. But it went by so quickly that, like, you know, I was only able to, like, remember 1 or 2 of them. So, you know, that's something I look forward to when this comes out on DVD, is, like, freeze-framing it and looking at some of those. And things like stuff in the book and everything like that. Like, I felt like there's other details that might lead to more deeper readings of the movie and everything like that. But my one gripe with the bear, like I love the way the bear is introduced, because like I love that shot where it's the 2 British people talking, and like it's like that tracking shot, and they're like, what's the deal with the bear? And then the bear,
are we just gonna ignore the bear?
Yeah, and the bear comes in the frame. Like that was brilliant. And then the way it goes into the tapestry after that was really great. But man, there's so many. Like, it's such a random thing to drop in that is so specifically tied to the Nicolas Cage Wicker Man now. Like, I feel like that's a troll. And I haven't seen the original Wicker Man, but it's hard to not make... Like, I know it was inspired by it, but it's like... It's hard not to make a lot of comparisons to it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, and it's... Because he talked about it. He was like, if you've seen the Wicker Man, you know this is happening... He talked about, I read a few interviews, and he was like, yeah, you know, like if you've seen The Wicker Man, like, you know where we're going, you know what I mean? Like this is happening. You know, but he was talking about kind of the humor in it. I really enjoyed kind of the humor that was speckled through it, like a lot from Poulter. Yeah. You know, just kind of, you know, him just kind of like being almost the audience in a way. I felt like he was a little bit more like, what the fuck is going on? You know, I just pissed on a tree. Is this guy gonna fucking kill me? You know, I thought his levity was kind of almost more of the audience's perspective. I didn't relate to Danny at all. But him, I almost did. I almost find he was like a combination of like a few of our friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it was nice having that like comic relief character in a movie like this, where there's like so much quietness and seriousness. Like, you know, it's a very stock character for like a teen slasher movie, but it's like greatly appreciated in a movie like this. And they don't overuse him. Like a character like that could get annoying really quickly, but they sprinkle him in enough to just like kind of be nice like little punctuations on the end of scenes and everything.
Yeah, he was you know, one of my favorites. Euro Trip. He's kind of the guy that's just trying to get laid the entire time.
Oh my
you know?
God, I had no idea. You know, every time I look at him, I always think he looks like the grown-up version of Sid from Toy Story. You know, like the kid that made the Frankenstein toys with the bad teeth. Yeah, like he's just got, you know, I heard apparently he was the one who was originally cast as Pennywise, and I think like he was in Detroit that movie Detroit, and
yep.
he had to choose between Pennywise and Detroit, and he was like, oh, Detroit's going to be the Oscar play, so I'll go with that, and I'm sure he has like never stopped regretting it or whatever.
No, but I mean, it all worked out, and I'm sure he would have been fine.
Yeah,
but
I do like
your
Skarsgård.
Your Skarsgård is just,
yeah.
Crazy. So
yeah.
Well, but I was like, he's a little, when I saw Poulter was in this, I thought he'd be a little bit meatier role, but
yeah, me too.
Sometimes it's kind of fun to see. It has a little Game of Thronesiness to it, where just random people are getting ganked. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
you think the biggest profile,
yeah,
maybe he'll last longer, but no.
Yeah, it was nice to see him because he's in a lot of serious shit. Like it's weird. He does like. He is very funny, but like I'd say he even does more like serious. He does more stuff like The Revenant than he does like stuff like We're the Millers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, totally.
So this is like a nice fusing of both of them. But yeah, in general, I think I liked the cast. Like William Jackson, the dude who's on The Good Place. William Jackson Harper, the dude the other dude who's writing the paper that's not Christian.
Okay, got it. Yeah, he's in Ash Loves the Good Place. I've maybe seen like one episode. So.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He always plays like super uptight intellectual guy, like type A.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, so like even though I feel like I kind of got his character very quickly just from the way he kind of gave the Danny the cold shoulder when she comes into the apartment at first, and just based on like everything else I know him from, like that was pretty good casting. And Jack Rayner, I haven't really seen that many other movies he was in, but he kept on giving me like a young Seth Rogen vibe. Am I crazy to say that?
No, yeah, just like I don't want to be here. What are we doing?
Yeah, kind of like
kind of vibe. Yeah,
kind of like
I know what you mean.
A less schlubby, knocked up boyfriend, like
right.
the guy that does not want to take responsibility for that much and just kind of goes along with it or whatever.
It's weird because he's painted as sort of this like one character, and then in Sweden is completely different than what you kind of think the guy is going to be on the phone. Like the first introduction where Danny's kind of crying to him again on the phone is very different from, I think, the guy that's just in Sweden taking mushrooms and far less responsible.
Yeah, I'm still confused as to towards the end of the story, like when he ends up having sex with or deflowering the girl in the weird ritual and everything. Like I know he ate the pew pie to like make him fall in love with her, but I was still confused as to how much autonomy both him and Danny have throughout that last third, as they're all like, I can't tell like how high they are on whatever weird powders and flowers and all that other shit.
Yeah, no, I had a lot of trouble with that whole scene because I don't know if everyone understands how the human body works, but I don't think hallucinogens are real good for erectile function, and then having semi-unattractive women chanting around you probably doesn't help.
And moaning in unison, that fucking weirded me out so much. That
right,
like...
from what I've understood about porn sets is that performance is
important,
tough to come by sometimes, right? Yeah. So like I can't imagine it would be an ideal circumstance to perform in.
I'm sure they have whatever ancient Nordic version of Viagra or whatever.
Didn't they give him something? Did they for vitality or something? He's like, here you go.
Oh yeah, probably
like goat testicles ground up or something.
There's a lot of, because I keep on getting confused because I'm like, wait, is it when he gets the powder blown in his face? No.
That was later. After he gets caught.
Yeah,
right?
And then he gets paralyzed or whatever.
Yeah, he runs naked and afraid, runs around, and then they powder him.
Yeah.
But then before that, they drugged him with, and he bizarrely decides to drink whatever the girl has just handed.
Yeah,
handed him.
Like I understand.
I said I would have thrown that over my shoulder, dog.
Definitely not. Especially when like I know they mixed it through, so you didn't notice the nasty root or whatever they had in it, but there still looked like dirt floating in water. Like I still would have been like, nah, I'm good. You know,
It's like you walk up to a girl in a bar,
yes,
and she's like, "What is this?" And you're like, "It's roofies, so I can roofie you later, or I'm roofing you, so that I can tackle you in a parking lot later." She goes, oh, "Okay." Oh, you know what? I don't know. And then she just drinks it anyway.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You're like, yeah. Like I don't it made no sense because the girl literally tells him to like break down your inhibitions so that you're more willing to do whatever, and he goes, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Oh, geez, should I? Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna have a bad trip. She's like, "Nah, man, nah. Go ahead, bro."
Well. So does he see Danny getting into it, so that makes him get into? Like, I was wondering, and once again, I don't think the film spells it out enough for my liking. But like, I was wondering if some of the actions towards the end could be explained like as a desperate attempt by Christian to be like, "Hey, Danny, I'm playing along," you know, basically trying to get into it. So he seems like they still have like a not dead relationship or whatever. But
it was very strange that when she kind of witnesses him doing a ritual, like her reaction seems like violent almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it seemed like it brought out like the way she was screaming was the same way she was screaming when she lost her parents, and yeah, I still don't totally know what to make of that. I did really love, once again, the screaming in unison when she goes and all the women surround her and then they all start screaming together. I think it says something about... Okay, if I had to guess, I could be talking out of my ass. It's basically because she lost her whole family, the only person she has left is this asshole. Well, like this, not asshole, but the shitty boyfriend of hers. So she is like clinging to this shitty relationship, so she needs something in her life to keep her stable or whatever. And then just seeing, even though it's obvious that he probably would cheat on her, just like seeing it, and I get maybe tripping balls as well and all the other surreal things coming into it as well. Maybe all of her emotions, like basically all of that grief is coming up from her family and everything. Because there is this, once again, I don't think the film spells it out well enough, but there is like this undercurrent idea of this new society kind of like taking her place as her family, because they don't really do a good enough job, aside from the emotional through line, of tying in the opening 20 minutes to what happens in the rest of the movie, except for when Danny is crowned as May Queen. They have that little bit where she notices like two of the people in the crowd look like her parents and everything like that, and like she sees visions of them when the old people jump off the cliff and everything like that.
Yeah, stupe or something like that.
Yeah, something. Yeah, yeah. That was probably my favorite scene in the movie. Like that was
the first one that got the crowd in my theater kind of rock and rolling.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Where they were like, "Oh shit! Oh,
yeah.
Like this isn't. This is going to be a real thing." You know, I think a lot. You know, yeah. That's when the lady next to me was like, "Oh, This is not what I want."
Yeah,
you know what
that's
I mean?
Also probably not a great date movie if you're not. That's not your cup of tea.
Oh no,
yeah,
no, I don't think so. Yeah, I mean when they smash his face in, and hold on, like, hey bro, what are you thinking? You're just jumping down feet first like that.
I know. Yeah, about? Like, well, I was, yeah, I definitely don't know.
What do you just jump face first into the thing like Homegirl did? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you missed the platform, dude.
Like very badly.
Like you had one job. Yeah, you had one job, sir. You know what I mean? And like you don't have to suffer, right?
Yeah.
So it was
for
weird.
Your benefit.
Like, yeah. Just jump face first into it, and then they're a little bit slow on the hammer. Once I saw the man with the hammer, I was like, oh, here we go. Oh, the hammer. It reminded me of like Japanese harikari, where you have like the swordsman standing over you, so like once you disembowel yourself, he quickly beheads you so that you don't suffer any longer.
Right.
I was like, that's what the hammer's for, I bet. And it took him long enough to get over there. I mean, the guy suffered for a good minute and a half.
Right.
Before he got put out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I loved that slowness and just the weird awkwardness of the whole scene.
Sure was.
And I liked I can't remember, was it like the sound cut out after the first person fell or something? Or like I feel like they did something weird with the audio.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It sounded a little.
It's like it goes to Danny's perspective, and like she does that thing where, you know, in movies when people are like shell shocked, everything gets all echoey, and
it's like the Saving Private Ryan scene.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I liked the way that I love the way that scene played out and the way it teed up the rest of the movie. I kind of wish the rest of the movie kind of lived up to that scene a little bit, because you know, Hereditary does deliver on the horror and the gore, and still throws in like subtle things. You know, it can still be subtle and interesting while going whole hog at the end. While this, I felt like kept on like playing coy with certain things. Like one of my gripes is, I guess my two gripes when it comes to Will Poulter's character. Even though like you knew he was going to get skinned or something terrible was going to happen to him, I kind of wanted to see that, or something a little bit more than just the fool guy wearing his skin. Like, I love that reveal, but I wish there was maybe they find his skin body somewhere. You find out what happened to the rest of him, or it looked like from the way the guy was wearing his skin that they had cut his dick off too. So like, you know, just a little bit more of that I would have been interested in. And then the other thing was, I wish the whole thing with the book and the fool and what part they play and why is he rubbing finger paints all over the pages and everything like that. Like, I wish they went into that more, because it was.
I mean, I was really disappointed that I didn't get a whole lot more of that dude.
Yeah, and the incest thing too. Like, it raises so many questions about how this society works and what the point of certain things are, and it, like I said, it drops these things in there and you think they're going to add up to something, and they kind of don't, and maybe that's the point, but it is kind of dissatisfying narratively. And just same stuff with that, same stuff with the bear. Like, the bear is dropped in and it's an interesting idea, but in the end it's just like, okay, they gut a bear and dress him as a bear and then they burn him. Like, why? Or like why does it have to be a bear? Why did they have to kill the bear first before burning it? Like, and that maybe some of those.
Well, it's hard to put a man inside a living bear.
Well, yeah, but I mean, could you not get a bear skin from a pre-killed bear? Or it's just.
I mean, they're pulling dude's lungs out through his back.
Yeah, that is.
You know what I mean?
Insane.
Like, did you notice that? Were they breathing?
Yeah, he was still alive.
No way.
I mean, that's where
I get
magic...
like. Have you ever seen? Yeah, have you ever seen Vikings where they do that to a guy? They execute it. It's called like the Blood Eagle or something.
Yes, I was looking it up before right before we did this, and I saw that's where he got the idea from. Or whatever.
I was like, there's no way a human could survive suspended.
But how horrible
with the lungs, man.
How horrible would that be if you did live through that and like you were alive as this? You know,
well,
I don't know.
I hope they powder him up.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I think so, but maybe they
to paralyze you at least, so you're not thrashing around.
I think that was the case. Yeah, that's the thing is like I don't know. It still seemed, even though I know a lot of the weirdness in this movie is like comes from the cult traditions and comes from the hallucinations, but it still did feel like it had a little bit of otherworldly occulty vibes. So certain things like that, I'm almost like, well, that seems like it's a stretch of logic or reality, but maybe it's. I
mean, you can go ahead and clock me over the head and smash my head with a mallet, push me off a cliff before you blood eagle me, before you break my back open and pull my lungs out through my back. Go ahead and do anything else you want.
Yeah.
That was by far the most horrible. And we, Ash and I were kind of debating about of how doped up you thought Christian was when he's in the bear. So is he feeling it? Is it locked in the box syndrome where you're paralyzed, you can't move?
I think it's that shit where you wake up in the middle of surgery. It's like you get all of the
number one fear.
Yeah,
number one fear of mine.
Because they stayed on his face pretty long as he was burning, and it looked like he was kind of feeling, because wasn't he like kind of moaning, like making guttural sounds or something like that?
Well, I mean, they gave the guys a little lick of something so that they feel no pain or something, but then the one gentleman seemed to be feeling quite a bit of pain as he's being burnt alive. So I don't know how potent their stuff was, or how potent they cared to make it.
Yeah.
For a dude that they plan on burning alive horribly. So,
yeah.
My biggest thing was kind of the scene where they're kind of like it seems very convoluted and strange and a bit too complicated for Danny, where she's like drunk, she's kind of emotional, and then they ask her to basically choose between killing a stranger or your boyfriend, and she goes, I guess my boyfriend. Right? Isn't that what the thing was? They had some volunteers, they had all the people that they brought in, but they needed 9 total or something, right?
Was that how? Because they had the 2 volunteers.
They had the elders. They had her whole friend group that's been
right.
So that made up X, and then they had the 2 other guys who were living volunteers, and then she had to pick like one more out of the crowd, or
I wasn't sure,
or use her boyfriend, right?
I didn't realize she had a choice, and I'm like totally foggy remembering that scene, but yeah, that would make sense. That like at least from the arc of the story, that would make sense.
Because remember they kind of go, we patiently await your judgment or something.
Okay.
And then it just cuts to them loading him up.
Oh, okay.
Loading him up in that bear.
Okay, so that makes the ending a little bit more
satisfying. But then like my most unintentionally funny moment is watching her covered in like flowers. The Christmas tree. Like the shot of her like crawl walking, like stumbling in this giant getup,
and like the barn's burning behind her and everything.
Yeah. Like it looked hilarious to me because she's like a page. Yeah, she's like a freshman year in college page trying to make it back to her dorm room. Like that's all I saw on like Halloween. Who, you know what I mean, with her heels off, like carrying her shoes.
Yeah,
like that's all I saw. Just some girl who's like lost it.
Yeah, like, I kept on thinking of, like, this is, like, the Bjork music video that never happened or something, like, like, the outfit was pretty, crazy, but, like, that I loved, like, that, even if I didn't quite know what was going on, if it looked pretty and weird, I was into it, but, same thing, like, except for that last 10 minutes, there's a lot of waiting for it to get weird. And I still was curious, like, what that entailed for her after all this is done. Like, what happens to the May Queen after the sacrifice is made? Do you just, like, live with them the rest of your life? Or do you get
I think
sacrificed?
She's got to, because at best you're an accomplice to murder, and at worst you're just next to be murdered.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yesteryear's May Queen is today's sacrificial lamb. You know what I mean? Like, I think you just roll up your sleeves and learn how to get down with the get down. You know what I mean? You got no parents.
Yeah.
You got no one. The college gave you the year off. I think you just kind of fold into their society.
Yeah, I mean, like, the movie was definitely setting up, like, again, with the, like, she doesn't have a family thing, and them saying, they even have a line saying, like, we're family now, or something like that. They definitely...
Right, and Powell, or Pele, or whatever, is talking about how these are my family.
Oh, yeah,
I was an orphan, just like you, blah, blah, blah. So I think, we need to bring in new blood, and all this kind of nonsense, so I think you just make the best of it, I guess. But they had some weird hints to things earlier on. Like, I remember at some point Danny's talking to one of the women there that has a baby, and she's like, "Oh, I'm not the baby's mom. The mom is on a trip or something." And I was... Yeah, she's out cruiting.
Yeah, maybe that was it. Because I was trying to figure out, like, the whole birth, especially since this seems to be, like, a Wicker Man, like, like harvest, like plenty, like a rebirth cycle kind of thing going.
Maybe that's what you do. You just, if you're a female young missionary, you just get on out there and get on that pregnant. You come on back. The village raises the baby up. You take off. Just keep coming back. If you're a guy, maybe you just get a bunch of buddies to come back for the old sacrifice.
Yeah. Like
one of them starts banging out the redheads in the village.
Yeah, and the whole what degree of incest versus recruiting studs or whatever is there? How does that work out? Because they already said that the fool is a intentional product of incest that it continues the generation. So that whole thing, that's never explained, but that raises so many questions. Because that's got to have its own ritual. Do you keep do you have to breed with him to continue the line?
Well, he's like a donkey, right? Can he reproduce?
Yeah.
Is it burros that can, or donkeys?
I think it's burros, but I can't remember. But yeah, that sort of thing.
A horse can have sex with a zebra and make a donkey. Wait,
you can make a liger, but you can't have that liger have kids or whatever.
Yeah, I love it. He's still blonde though. I was like, he's still got the features.
Yeah, he looks like a little. He should be a little Dutch boy until you look through the blonde hair and realize he's horribly
why?
deformed.
I wonder if it was his idea to wear the man suit of skin.
Oh yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean? I find it hard to believe.
Maybe he's bored. Well, they were saying the other thing is I guess this must be a village game because they play Skin the Fool, which. Oh
yeah.
Yeah, but if it seemed like the fool was doing the skinning, or I guess Jack.
I don't think he's coordinated enough to skin a man like that.
I don't know. He was doing pretty good with the
you have to be a real craftsman to make sure that the eyes. He's going to make a mess of that.
Actually, body. Take it back. I feel like the girl definitely. The guy who got really pissed off at him for pissing on the old people's ashes. I feel like he must have done it because
I don't know. He's too emotional. I think he would cut through the eye holes or something.
Well, I don't know. Well, maybe he just did the initial killing. The woman did the work. Will Poulter was definitely missing a dick in that shot where the fool shows up wearing his skin. So I bet you the crazy guy.
Someone made that emotional choice to take the dick.
Yeah, they were probably divvying it up, saying okay, cool. You guys can do the rest. Just let me chop off his dick, and then you can do the skinning, and the fool can. Have the fun.
Did you think that they were eating human pies?
They definitely there was something chunky in there. And so I was also confused a little bit. Is the girl who made the pew pie is the pew pie because based on the tapestry when I first saw it, I could clearly see it had a drawing of a woman looking like she was taking a nice knife to her nether regions and cutting off a piece of her genitals and putting that in the pie because there's blood.
No, so I think that was period blood, my friend. And his drink looked a little cloudy.
Oh, of course.
It looked a little like there's a little grenadine in there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I think it was a double whammy.
Damn.
You got to eat the pew pie and then you got to drink that drink.
Oh man.
And I think the you can't have one without the other, my friend. So I think that's the diagram. Is the blood going out of the right into a glass, and his looked a tad more pinkish than the other ones.
Interesting. See, that's totally the sort of stuff that I want to watch this again a second time because maybe there's that's cool though.
Go back and see. His looks like a little more red than the other glasses, and I'm surprised that he didn't detect a note of iron in his drink, but.
Well, all those mushrooms.
He has been on a lot of mushrooms.
Yeah. All of the weird, whatever the hell they're putting in their food. I'm still curious what the hell was the thing in the drink at the end that he drank that made, was that an herb or something that they were mixing into that giant punch bowl that they were handing out to people, or?
The dancing drink? I think that was like mushroom, just a big old brew, just a big old mushroom tea brew.
It didn't look like mushrooms though. It looked like something weird. I mean, I guess maybe we're not.
Well, they were grinding something up, man. I don't know, because everyone took a nice little mouthful, and then to get them all crazy. How long do you think you could have lasted in that dance?
In the dance?
Yeah.
I definitely would have been trying to just like get my way out of there on foot, and I'd probably be a skin suit for the fool by now, because
I couldn't believe that she won. I was like, there's no way.
I mean, do you think they were setting her up to win? Because everyone...
I don't know. Not those girls that were bashing each other in the faces, slapping their front teeth together.
Yeah.
I know they didn't plan on that.
How my other question was, how long did they have to listen to the same dredging music, waiting for people to run into... Like, that would take, like, 90...
All I could think of is the Always Sunny episode where they do the dance-a-thon.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just leaning on each other, and I was like, this can't imagine watching people on mushrooms just do this insane dance.
Oh, my God.
I just, man. And honestly, and I wanted to get into it a little bit, but do you remember our crazy encounter
I was thinking of that exact
Oh, my
thing.
God.
Yes,
dude.
Oh, my God. Like,
this is crazy.
Yeah, because I was like, I would never let myself get in one of these situations, and I was like, oh, yeah, that kind of happened with Dave.
Did. Yeah, remember, like, I think, was it one of the nights before I left for college? Did you invite me to this?
Yeah.
Or did you have a girlfriend or something that got us, like, how did you, is someone in the drama department in high school?
No, basically.
What happened? How did you hear about this?
Okay, so, yeah, it was summer right before college. We were both 18, and we were, like, going to go off to different schools. And I was doing, like, an internship program somewhere in Maryland, and they had a bookshop nearby that I would go to. And I stopped by, and I was, like, talking to the chick that worked at the bookshop, who seemed very nice and everything.
Here you go. This is how they get you.
Well, yeah, so I think she turned out to be Wiccan or something like that. It might have been some offshoot of it or whatever, but
1,000%.
Yeah, but she wanted us to go to it was like
a sun ceremony,
it was like
or
an
something,
equinox,
man.
Something or other, or something to do with the changing of the seasons, and like especially being 18 and being like it can go on my own adventures now.
God, we're so dumb.
Yeah.
Like, we were so dumb to do this.
Yeah, so we drove for a while to get there.
So the first sign that this was a big mistake is when we started driving up a fucking mountain.
Yeah. And
we're driving through unpaved roads trying to get to where this is going to be.
Yeah, then
that should have been our first sign to just turn around.
Middle of fucking nowhere in Maryland. Like, we drove for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, just to this part. But part of Maryland.
The road ends, and we're like, we keep going up this mountain.
Yeah, and we followed it for a while, and there's like no lights anywhere, and like, of course, I didn't really know this girl, so I was like, oh my God, was she just like fucking with us, or And like,
so we go ahead. Do you remember what happens?
Well, so we got to a compound eventually, right? Like
right. So we find a guy who like attaches something to our car. He like ties a ribbon around the antenna or something. You remember that? And he tells us to like keep driving straight, or whatever. We keep driving, and we get up to like a field or clearing or something. This is like on a mountain, dude.
Yeah.
And
pitch black.
Pitch black. There's nothing. And there's a bunch of people around.
And you can see their silhouettes, and they're clearly like wearing shit, and they look super spooky. Like, it's like misty out and everything. Like,
oh, dude. It was one of our we should be on like Dateline NBC day. Yeah. We should it was like I Survived episode.
Right.
We're just two dumbass kids, and we get out of the car, we get out of your car, and we walk over to like a group of them, and they were like upset about the way we came, or the time we came, or the manner in which we came.
I think it was like a combination of all three.
Of all of it. Because I think we're just wearing cargo shorts and like t-shirts, and we're like, hey, what's up?
Yeah. And we were supposed to have been there at sundown.
Something.
Yeah, because like I thought we were going to like I thought we were going to like a drum circle or something like that, and it's like, no, this is a serious some sort of religious ceremony. And like
The guy tells us to leave. Do you remember this?
Yeah, well, he was like, "You come back tomorrow at sunrise with your heads right," or something like, and it was.
He says, "You better come right."
Yeah,
you better come
and
right.
This dude was like
Wiccan
Sam Elliott or something like that. He was super like intense looking or whatever.
It was like we showed up to like Sons of Anarchy or something. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, okay, sir, yeah, no problem. Right. Like he goes, "You better come back right."
Yeah.
You better come right.
And we're like, okay, backing towards the car.
We're like, okay, yep. See, okay, yeah, no, we'll be, we'll see you back, sir.
Yeah, I think.
Yep, thanks so much.
I think the other thing was, I don't think we were supposed to have driven right up to where because once again we had no idea where we were going. But I think we
had no idea. I think we sounded like we're just two assholes driving a car.
Yeah.
Through some ceremonial.
And I think they were trying to have like a serious like like a silent. Something or other or whatever, and then we just come rolling in like 5 hours after the thing starts. Two total randos too. Like it's like literally like we were like, oh yeah, I knew this person that knew this person that knew this person.
It was like, yeah, it's like, who do you know at this party?
Yeah, and I think the girl from the bookstore wasn't even there that night because I forgot she was like
she was out.
Yeah, she was like, you should go. I don't think I can make it this time, and my dumb 18-year-old self thought that was a good idea.
And I'm just like, yeah, that sounds crazy. Let's do it. Like I was just down for a lot of weird stuff.
I think,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you were the motivator because like you were like, we were like, it's time for us to have a dumb college adventure.
Totally. And then we were like, well, what could we do now? Do you remember what we did?
I do. We went to that was my first strip club, so definitely.
Yeah, we went to a horrible Maryland strip club.
Yeah, the worst.
It was bad.
The worst. It was the most depressing. Bad. And I remember distinctly they had the lady at the door was like 100. 100. Like no joke. She was like who's the oldest one from Golden Girls?
Was it B. Arthur or the other one? Glenn? I don't know.
Glenda or whatever.
Yeah.
And she just like. It's like they put her there just to give you like a guilt-inducing grandma stare as you walked in.
It was horrible. Yeah. And the great thing about Mr. Andrew Volpe is that he cannot say no to anyone for anything.
Oh yeah,
and you can't say no.
Yeah.
And so the worst strippers would just, "Do you want to dance?"
Yeah.
And he'd be like, "Okay."
Sure.
You could not say no to these girls. Yeah. It was insane to watch.
I'll pay you to stop.
How about I just give you $20 to not? Can we just skip to the... I would just go, "No thanks, I'm good."
Yeah.
And he would be like, okay. And they would just do it right there. Remember, like, if you go to a decent strip club, there's you go find a designated area to do a private dance, a lap dance, right? They would just do it right there.
Yeah, because the whole
thing I'm sitting at the table, like, dude, I gotta get out of here. Yeah, it was horrible. Remember that? Yeah, that was good times, man. Good times.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It takes us back, but. So that's our experience with weird cults.
You know
what I mean?
So anyway, Midsommar. Like that. I'm so glad you brought that up because that's exactly where
I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, oh my god, this could have been us, bro. This could have been us.
But yeah, like that's the thing is like in the movie. I understand there's like part of me that's like, oh yeah, like a getaway from things in a different country, appreciating a different culture, that might be fun. But as I was watching the movie, I was like, no, I would hate this. Like watching people play like fucking recorders and dance around the maypole in circles. And shit. Yeah. That just is like it's basically like you're living on an Amish commune for a while, and it's just, especially stranded in a foreign country in a failing relationship. Like
I feel like all of our friends are, including you, are like a zig or a zag away from being in one of these.
Oh yeah.
Because of a girlfriend. You know what I mean? Yeah. We could have lost Castro years ago. We could have lost a Nebby perhaps.
Yeah.
You my friend are quite susceptible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I could have definitely seen you just joining one of these communes.
Well,
because of a fine young lady.
Hey man, there's still time.
There's still time. Hey, ladies, Mr. Andrew Volpe is single.
Yeah.
And if you're into some weird stuff and you need just a willing participant, the man can't say no. You know what I mean? So holler at your boy.
Yeah. Colt people and not the best strippers are all welcome.
Totally. From the girl, and just any girl that would talk to you in college or high school, to strippers, to whatever. He just cannot say no. So, I mean, he literally. Did I tell it? Did I tell everyone you painted a girl's house one time, right? Because you just asked. You painted a girl's house.
Wait. I did not paint a girl's house because she.
Did you paint a girl's house in high school? She just asked you to paint it.
I think I helped a girlfriend paint her room. It's different when you
paint the outside of her house.
I did not paint the outside of anyone's house. I don't know where you're getting that story from.
All right, I remember a lot of these stories, my friend.
Okay.
A lot of these stories.
I've done a lot of
picking up girlfriends' dads from the airport.
I did do that once or twice, but
picked up a girl's dad from the airport.
You're like,
who does that?
17, and it's different. If you're dating, it's I
wouldn't do that now.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't do that.
Would you not?
For Ash's dad. No, I don't think so. I think
would you just
be like, ooh,
push him out the car or something like that?
I'd be like, oh. Hit a taxi, my man.
Yeah, you would drive to the airport and pull up next to him just to be like,
just kidding. At the arrivals? I'm at the departures.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm in a hell of a traffic here. I'm in a traffic bind.
As you're driving past them over and over again.
Yep. But any final thoughts? Any
yeah.
We really. Yeah, go for it.
Nothing too specific. In summation, I think, overall, I like the movie for the Ari Aster flourishes and, the weird bits of weirdness. But overall, the general plot itself, I wasn't as into, and I wish things were a little bit more fleshed out. And I am definitely interested in seeing what he's got coming up next, and I still definitely recommend it if you liked Hereditary. But I am very curious. I feel like from the amount of people that I saw that hated Hereditary especially after I was raving about it and everything, and they come back to me and be like, "Oh, this fucking sucks." I'm very curious who, if any of those people see this movie and they must hate. I feel like this movie will be even more polarizing than Hereditary, right?
Totally. Yeah, no, I mean, I kind of hope he just sticks with this.
Oh, yeah, totally. I'm glad that he's doing what he's doing. We need someone that's weird and extreme, and, he is good with actors. He has a great visual and sensibility and, editing. All the quadrants he fills out, and he's a very ballsy filmmaker, and it's amazing that he's this talented out the gate and so young and everything like that. So I'm always excited to see what he's doing next. I'm glad this exists, but it wasn't quite as crazy as I was hoping it to be.
Yeah. Well, I assume they're gonna do some sort of period piece next. I think he's gonna come out with something kind of like The Witch. I think
that'd be cool.
Maybe a science fiction-y version, but I think they go old world. You know what I mean? Something crazy.
I thought I read an interview where he's saying his next movie is not going to be a horror movie. So I'm very curious about that because I have no idea what the hell. I can't picture him doing anything that isn't emotionally gut-wrenching and kind of icky. Because even his short films, I still say he's got the short film The Strange Thing About the Johnsons that is fucking awesome and absolutely disgusting. So I've never seen him do of the limited things I've seen him do, I've never seen him go in any other direction. So I'd be very curious to see what he does to change it up with the next one.
All right, well, we'll see what he comes up with, but we're down for whatever it is. Whatever it may be, my friend. If you're listening out there.
We got our tickets.
Do your thing.
We got our movie pass or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I got my AMC stubs ready for you, buddy.
Yep.
All right, well. I'm still working on Too Old to Die Young, man. One episode at a time. You know what I mean? That's another... I was like, Ash was like, oh, I need a palate cleanser. I need something after that, And I was like, oh, you want to watch some Too Old to Die Young? And she's like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope. So I'm working on it. I think I'm on episode 9. That might be something we reconnect on and go over. They gave your boy Refn just enough rope to hang himself with, and
it's a just be as indulgent as you could possibly be.
Yep. So, I mean, Ash is like, well, what's going on now? I was like, well, they just cut a guy's hands off, and they're just like, just saw a man be, let's see, what's the word? Well, he,
being the. Oh wait, never mind. I was going to say something.
A gentleman was just sodomized with a bullwhip.
Yep.
So I think that's where I'm at right now on it. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
with a big bullwhip.
Yeah. After having, he was degraded in other ways right before. Yeah, it's a really interesting bag of just different sorts of disgustingness. It mixed in with just like the longest pauses of all time in cinema history. But yeah,
very strange music choices. It's very on brand for Refn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like that's the thing is, no one can complain because it is totally him. You know what I mean? But it's 13 hours of him, so that's take that as you will.
Yeah, exactly. If you really like him, I think this is for you.
Yeah.
If not, it's. I mean, it's not a slog to get through, but I'm like, damn, bro.
It's a
like each of these episodes is like just a kick in the nuts.
Yeah, it's definitely a very, very mixed bag to the point where it's kind of hard to know what to make of the show. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'd totally be into having a little if you want like a pod sesh on it. At some point.
Sure, bro. I'm always down to pod.
I'm always down to pod. Never too old to pod young. Podcast.
We're trying to coin some phrases, so I just text them, down to pod tonight?
Yeah. DTP, man. DTP.
All right. Well, we'll head on out with that, you guys. Didn't talk about Spider-Man, but who the hell cares? I mean...
Yeah, I still haven't seen it yet, so...
He hasn't even seen it. He doesn't even care.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's Spider-Man. Like, what is it? It's like a delicious little Oreo cookie. It's just, it is what it is. It's just, whatever it is, 90%, 98% or whatever.
Oh, wow.
It's like, does anyone need to talk about it?
I mean,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No one cares. I mean, or everyone cares, so I'm just like not into it.
Yeah.
It's fine. All right.
Yeah.
Go elsewhere for your damn Spider-Man content.
Yes, exactly. Don't worry.
I'm sure you guys will have a hard time.
I was going to say there's only 9,020,000 other people doing Spider-Man commentary or whatever.
Everyone zigs and we zag.
That's right. We go. People say, "Give me an arachnid superhero high schooler," and we say, "No, give us the weird, moody relationship drama, gory horror Nordic."
I want more incest. Swede freak monster.
Exactly. Give me all the old people's heads getting crushed by mallets.
Brutal. I mean, he was saying the woman who jumped off. He was like, yeah, it was great because she just suffered like a really horrible personal loss, so she like really channeled it into the performance. I was like, oh, dude. Man. All right, well, you got it, nailed it.
Yeah. Props to those. Prop people for making pretty good realistic
smash heads.
Yeah, smash head. Because like I forgot after they had the whole picking up the smashed bodies, like they had a shot where they were like bringing them over to the grill to be turned into ash or whatever, and like it looked like I'm sure they were like some sort of prosthetic, but like it looked pretty real, and you got to see them start to burn and everything like that. So that's pretty cool.
We know they didn't actually kill the man because apparently he's like very famous in Sweden.
Oh, really?
He's like a very well-known actor. So I'm sure they didn't smash him up in real life. So
yeah,
we can only assume it was pig guts and
Swedish Dumbledore.
Swedish whatever. Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Well, we're hoping for more smashed heads in the future.
Yes.
Always fun to see. Haven't seen a good smash head or bring it full circle back to your boy in Drive. Nicholas Winding Refn.
Oh, that
kind of ushering in a face smash and popularizing it, if you will.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I mean?
That was pretty and
ushered in.
Another potential review that might have some head smashing in the future is you never know with Tarantino. He always likes to have a nice gory head explosion or something like that.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Maybe Brad Pitt gets curbed.
Yeah.
And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, we don't know.
Yeah, man, you never know.
You never know. So we're praying like hell, but fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I mean, because I hope this has a lot of hyper violence that Tarantino's known for, but I just haven't really seen.
I got a whole theory on this movie, but I don't know if it's like too.
Well, maybe tease it for next time, bro.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, shoot. Well, okay. So I'm just gonna say here, without like really going in depth with it, I think Tarantino, and I just want it on the record, I think Tarantino is gonna pull Inglourious Bastards with this movie. And I think that Sharon Tate's going to live and kill Charles Manson, and it's going to be like, like his alternate history.
Oh, okay, all right. So you think this is a nonsense history?
Well, yeah, like it's like not like he hasn't pulled it before, and it would fit in with his whole like almost every movie he's done for over a decade has been some form of revenge movie. So. But I'm also hoping he gets away from it. Like that's why I'm a little more excited for this one, just because it feels like a little bit more refreshing. Like he's changing it up a little bit. He's getting back into a period piece, but a period he's never worked with, and it's more about the Hollywood lore that he loves. So that could be refreshing. I don't know.
Well, we'll see. It comes out in a couple of weeks. I'm sure we'll dive into it.
Okay, so yeah, we'll see if I'm totally right or just completely off base. But maybe we can see if the bet pans out or something.
Oh, there you go. Well, the evidence is here. You guys, please. He didn't read that on Reddit, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? So if you see it on Reddit, you tell them. Go back and check out the Disorderly podcast because Mr. Volpe already went through the whole damn thing.
That's right. Crack the code.
All right. Cracked it wide open, just like Brad Pitt's skull in the film. We're hoping.
Just got out my mallet. Crack that code. Crack that pit.
Got out the mallet. You know what I mean? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. We truly appreciate it. We're just trying to have some fun, recap some movies, give it a fun little discussion. And we appreciate you guys coming along for the ride. So please feel free if you like it, share it, subscribe, leave us comments, whatever you got. You got any feedback? You want to hear more crazy cult stories? Do you enjoy hearing our high school stories? Just our stories for our misadventures of life. You know what I mean? We've got dozens of them. So we'll sprinkle them out through the podcast. Let us know what you guys want to hear. Maybe I'll tell the story of ruining a potential three-way one Halloween for Mr. Volpe. That was a great time of mine, and I'll tease that one for next time.
Is this podcast? Is this just gonna be a bit like just what other embarrassing stories from our high school
we got
years?
so many. Yeah, we got so many of them.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Well, stay tuned. Just stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We'll just sprinkle them throughout the whole thing. So. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks.
All right. See you guys.